How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the First Step Act. It has passed. We're going to get it signed. It is official. Now, when I say that, I can't say it with 100% certainty. I'm like 99.99%. Let me explain. Let me just get through this whole thing, and then we get into what the First Step Act is. Now, the First Step Act was passed by the House and went to the Senate. When it got to the Senate, you had guys like Ted Cruz and others that were kind of concerned. They put some amendments in there. Now they're going to bounce it back to the House after they passed it. So the House passed it first, went to the Senate. They got some changes. Then they approved it. It goes back to the House. Now, once the House says, okay, we're good to go, which is 99.99% likely to happen, it'll go to the president, who's been waiting to sign it, and then we're in the clear. Now, to explain what the First Step Act is, if you don't know, this is criminal justice reform. It's a lot of things in here that are going to be very beneficial to the American taxpayer, to the American regular citizen, for their safety, and for people that are in jail that probably should be home. And this is for federal prisons only, not for state, city, county, local, whatever. Let's get down into it. You have the main thing here, which is the crack and the powder disparity being enforced retroactively. In 2010, Barack Obama passed a bill that says crack and powder cocaine will be treated the same when it comes to sentencing. At one point, it was 100-1. It was needed at one point in time, honestly, because of all the violence that came about as a result of the crack wars. Late 80s, early 90s, it was really crazy. But that's not the case anymore. People are being sent to jail with these crazy sentences that they shouldn't be. After 2010, those sentences were equalized. But if you got locked up, let's say in 2006, you've been in jail for the past, 12 years, and you probably won't get home anytime soon because you were not able to take advantage of the 2010 law. But now that law has been applied retroactively, which is going to affect about 2,000 current federal prisoners. They're going to be able to petition to take advantage of that law to possibly come home early. The next thing is the 3 strikes law. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be retroactive or it's going to be from here on out, but if you get convicted of 3 felonies, you are no longer going to get an automatic life sentence. You would get 25 years instead. That's that. Another thing, we're going to put money on the books for training programs. So it'll reduce recidivism. Rather than going back out on the street with nothing, no skills, no ability to function in society, you'll be better equipped to do with the outside world. And we're also going to eliminate the need for a lot of these halfway houses, which are very expensive, and it's just an extension of your sentence. You'll also be able to apply for more good time. And if you don't know anything about prison, what good time is, it's what you get when you are a well-behaved prisoner. You get time off of your sentence. So let's say you get a 10-year sentence, right? And you're able to apply for a good time by, completing programs, not getting any kind of trouble, just doing what you're supposed to be doing, being a model prisoner. You may get credits for days, weeks, months. You could come home up to a year early, 2 years early. It depends on how the credits are applied and how many you get. So you're going to be able to apply for more of that, which is send more prisoners home early. It won't be a get out of jail free card, which is what I see a lot on these random websites and people just talking on their personal pages. They're saying, oh, we don't need this. We didn't vote for Trump to do this. You're letting everybody out. It's not like that. People who've been in jail that are old timers may be able to get out. People that are in jail due to unjust sentencing disparities. I mean, crack versus powder. Come on. It's the same drug. It shouldn't be a 100-1 disparity. So you'd be able to get out at the appropriate time. You should be released, just like you sold any other drug. This bill is mostly focused on people that have been affected by the drug war in a negative way. And I keep hearing all the time, people on the left and the right saying that the drug war is a bad thing. And we're trying to fix a lot of the damage that the drug war has done. So I don't really see a big issue. Some of the same people who are against the bill are also against the drug war. But for now, I digress. One more thing I see is people talking about the cost. How much is it going to cost? Is it going to help? Is it going to hurt? The CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, released a figure that says it's going to cost the American taxpayer in terms of increase to the federal deficit about $340 million over the course of 10 years. People are looking at that and saying, hey, why are we going to co-sign this bill? Why should we support this bill when it's going to cost us $340 million over the course of 10 years? But that number is really a nothing burger compared to how much it costs to house all these inmates. That same study from the CBO says that we're talking about 54,000 inmates that could be released over the course of 10 years in the federal prison system. Each inmate costs on average 30 grand a year to have in the prison. So again, like I said before in previous videos, I'm not Albert Einstein. I'm not Isaac Newton. I'm not some kind of genius over here, but basic math tells me that 30,000 times 54,000 is right around 1.6 billion with a B every year that we're spending on these inmates. So over the course of 10 years, again, not Albert Einstein, but 1.6 times 10 is right around 15 to 17 billion over the course of 10 years. So let's just say the low end, 15 billion over 10 years for all these inmates being housed. Would you rather spend 345 million or 15 billion? You tell me, which is the better use of our federal money? And like I said, this is all about federal prisoners, which means you pay it. I ain't talking about California. I ain't talking about New York. This is your money that you pay. Would you rather spend 15 billion or 340 million? Do you want to put money towards things that are actually going to reduce recidivism and make prisoners, when they become released, less dangerous? Because let's be clear, most prisoners that are going to get out as a result of this early or a little bit early or whatever are going to be released regardless of what. It may be a year or two earlier, if that, but they're going to come home. So you want a safer person that's going to be able to integrate themselves more with society rather than somebody who has no skills, no ability to do anything for themselves, and no hope for themselves. Sometimes, not all the time, because sometimes you got guys that come home and they do very well. You know, they may have had a skill prior to going to the penitentiary. They may have developed something in jail that they're able to do once they come out. But a lot of guys don't have it, and they're going to need these programs, so they're going to be less of a danger to society when they come out. That's just how that goes. So I'm glad that we got this passed. And when I say we, I mean all of you who supported it. Shout out to Turning Point USA, Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, Charlie Kirk, and the whole squad that has been there with them. You know, a lot of us went to Capitol Hill and lobbied for this. Van Jones went and lobbied for it. This has been a bipartisan bill from the very beginning. It started with my man, Doug, I forget his last name. I want to say Jones in Georgia. I'm probably wrong, but I'll place his information in the box. And also Hakeem Jeffries from New York. Two totally different parts of the country. You're talking about rural Georgia, not too far from where I'm at right now. You know, small, 80-90% white versus Hakeem Jeffries in New York, a really multicultural place, big city, super liberal. They came together to co-sponsor this bill, and the left and the right were able to get this bill through the House, through the Senate, back to the House, now to the president. Now, what I want to know is, all these people talking about Trump's a racist, he's a bad guy. Are you going to say that now that the First Step Act has been passed? To those of you who are against the First Step Act, I have to ask you why. Are you against saving billions of dollars over the course of 10 years? Literally, I'm not making it up. Like I said, the CBO says that it's going to increase spending by 345 million or whatever. We're going to save minimum 15 billion over the course of 10 years, which is the same time as that 340 million. How are you mad about that? Why are you mad at prisoners being able to have more tools in their box to be able to deal with the outside world so they will be less of a danger to society? Why is that a bad thing? It's not a get out of jail free card. We're not talking about all prisoners. We're talking about federal prisoners. And to anyone else who has a negative thing to say or who is not totally pleased, this is the first step. This is a great step. And I think that all Americans should be celebrating this more than anything else. So what do you think? Do you think the First Step Act is a good thing to have? You guys know my point of view. I'm all with it. I'm very excited. This is great. This is a great step forward for all Americans. I think Most individuals in the USA are against the drug war, or they have certain questions about it. They're kind of skeptical about it. This bill really focuses on those who have been affected by the drug war that are in the federal prisons. It is a first step, and it only applies to federal prisons, but maybe other states will be able to take notice of what has happened here, and they'll be able to monitor how it works well with the federal prisons, and they can incorporate it into their own prisons to make the country safer, to spend less money, to have a more common sense approach to the way we do things in the prison system. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.